Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 30th of September, the last day of my recordings before the longer break. I'm winding up. I have a very limited amount of time. Let me just say that this is a recording in the series, the winding up, the recording devoted to the legal lab, which was one of the 8 compartments of the Agnipolitanian Academy, the care of the noble kingdom of Agnipolitania. My name is Agnieszka Rojek. Agnieszka Justitia Rojek the first, since I founded the noble kingdom. The other compartments are the Faculty of Fine Literature and Arts, the Faculty of Secret Education, the Faculty of Histories, the Faculty of Health and Beauty, the Faculty of Natural and Supernatural Sciences, and the Faculty of Finance. Apart from the PR lab, I have the legal lab. All of these have been covered in detail by now. Now I'm running up, and I have, as I said, a very limited amount of time. So let me try to do it somehow against the limit of time. The PR lab, generally, we have the branches. I repeat it for the sake of clarity. We have brand communications, investigations, foreign affairs, and preventing and counteracting incapacitations. And these are the main. Brand. As far as brand goes, we have the definition and development. In the definition, we have this basic concept of the queendom. It is a noble queendom who serves virtues as honor, truth, justice, and virginity. The capital city is Agnipolitania, which is the center of such activity as the activity in the following fields: law, politics, economy, diplomacy, languages, education, literature, theater, fine arts, science, and the investigation, internal research, and observation leading to know, protecting, and so on and so forth of the planet Earth. Perhaps I should add the universe, but that was not the idea at the beginning. It has developed. The kingdom has white magic. It is represented in the symbols, and it will be elaborated on by giving you some anchors in mysticism. It is a spiritual kingdom which believes in God and extraterrestrial beings of the spiritual nature. As I said, mysticism is an ingredient of the brand. The country rule include Agnieszka Justitia the first, the queen, that is me, the protectress of the pure value, the noble queen, the magnificent, the magnanimous, the guardians of truth and justice. Apart from that, we have the council of sages, and the folk is different from the law. That is the people living in Agnipolitania, respecting the rules. If someone does not, it's banishment. If they have been banished but still come into ruining our life, it's death sentence. Development. As for the development, we have such areas as brand development, Agnipolitanian Academy, brand line, well, actually, brand line is Agnipolitanian Academy, corporate culture, and strategy. So perhaps we should start from the brand line. As far as the brand line is concerned, it is honesty that serves as the best label, and as such, it defines the further development of the brand. Honesty at work and honesty in daily life. I remember that I was to add something here, but I have forgotten. So perhaps after when we meet again after the longer break. Um, so far, the main development of the brand was the Agnipolitanian Academy. It has three branches. There's the academy, there's the laboratory, and there's the think tank. The academy is devoted to the study, obviously, to research and development, and home publications. It is not part of any business. It is not a part of any business enterprise, so it cannot be registered as a business activity. There's the laboratory, which has to do with the rough life experience, works on it. So this is basically the difference between the faculty and the laboratory. It is full of own ideas. The think tank is something that I will probably think of turning into a business activity one day if I can. It has to do with the specific subject matter, and what the activity I have in mind are analysis, compilations, problem solving, and strategy. So these are the things I can work on in future. So this is the Agnipolitanian Academy in short. Then we have the corporate culture. The corporate culture has to do with culture and people. What kind of people would be the Agnipolitanian people? Well, they must be honest, potentially ingenious, and they must represent or aspire to high standards, scientific and ethical. In terms of scientific standards, what I understand when I talk about high standards has to do with correctness. So correctness rather than slant towards ideologies, and as obviously we will have to do with some errors. So part of this culture is that there's a tolerance for error. So we assume that if we are doing an investigation, if you are doing a research, we might make errors, and no one is supposed to be punished for them. Obviously, provided that we are not going criminal, because that's a totally different question. It has to do with ethical standards. So if the ethical standards are kept, then obviously it is a very difficult field of activity. As for culture, it is a friendly culture. We are mutually supportive. It is non-competitive, not in the sense that we cannot go into competition with similar, for example, as a think tank, with similar think tanks. It is, even if we don't like it too much, because that's the point actually, that we don't like competition. This is cooperation. So this is a totally different work environment, or study environment, or life environment. Non-suppressive. What I understand under the label non-suppressive is non-interference. So people have chosen roles, and no one is to interfere with them. No one is to interfere with people's spaces. No one is to interfere with people's identities. Non-invalidating. It has to do with the efforts made and with the caliber of the person. So in short, if someone says, I am ingenious, and he is in Agnipolitania, so they have met different standards, then obviously he is ingenious. Non-ridicule. Ridicule is totally out of place. This is very suppressive, very invalidating. That is making you uncomfortable, making nothing of your efforts, and belittling you simply. So this is the culture. Then normal operation mode are the 3 C's: communication, coordination, cooperation. Strategy. In strategy, probably as the flag should cause as the perhaps not the perfect as a goal. We have the state of law. So we assume the state of law. I mean, you say the rule of law and order and law, something like that. I don't remember exactly the phrase right now. But I talk about the state of law because it has this double meaning. That is, the state is the country in terms of the administrative and legal um, definitions, um, and the state is the condition. So the state being in the state of law is assumed in the very concept of the state of law. Uh, so this is one defining feature. Another defining feature is the troll. What I mean by this, I mean I have found myself in this devastating situation. My life had been devastated, and then I created Agnipolis and developed it into Agnipolitanian. And it has been attacked again, which is very disappointing, very painful. Obviously, my relations with the world outside, with humankind right now, are totally broken. I am in a devastating social trauma. I never, if I will ever be able to, I don't know if I will ever be able to overcome it. Still, I do believe that the people I have met so far are not all the people that are there in the world, and I do believe that I can break through somehow and get to my people. What is meant by the troll is that the troll perished, but she has remained the troll. So, in other words, if I do not survive, I will die as me. So I can be penalized, but I have not done any of those things. And this is the essence, because Agnipolitania is the truth. Priorities clearly defined. So it is part of our strategy. Constant awareness. The errors. Here is strategy generally how we approach errors. I have mentioned tolerance for errors when I was talking about scientific standards. Now we have the operational rules, so to say. So we have criticism and correction. Criticism, when there are errors, it should be about problem solving and problem diagnosis. So first of all, problem diagnosis and then problem solving. And errors are corrected. So we do not play any games. There are no silences. If I make a mistake in English or in Polish, I expect my interlocutor to correct me, because that handles the problem immediately. I am not left with the impression that I'm doing something correctly when I am not. This is perfect cooperation. Obviously, we believe we are ingenious, so there's the rule of I know this, but I may not know this, and I'm perfect in this, but I'm slightly imperfect in this. So that's all fine overall. I'm ingenious anyway. Invaluable information is the concept that has arisen out of my experience with trying to solve the problems I have been dealing with since 2009, when I was attacked when my life was destroyed. The problems have not been solved. What I have got is invaluable information. So, I wrote it up actually, the actions I was taking. For example, I put in the little round table, and I could see the reactions of my friends, the responses. Some thought that it was a trap, and this is an invaluable piece of information because it tells me what the friends think of me, really. And then I invited my pupils. and I posted the series of photographs. And to start with, no one thanked me for being invited to become my friend in Facebook, which is an invaluable piece of information because it tells me that they do not appreciate me. And then we have I posted the series of photos and no one commented on it. So again, this is an invaluable piece of information because it told me that you would not get anywhere actually, but once I started it, I had to go through it. The whole process of the development of the Agnieszka Wintabicha profile with my former pupils has been rich in invaluable information about the real relationship between me and my pupils as it was in 2011. And then at the end of 2011, I reported the crime of hacking of my email accounts, and I was begging the police for help, and I was begging the prosecutor to investigate for help. I was refused help. I was ridiculed. The problems that we are dealing with right now are unthinkable. And it is not only the complete damage of my life, the incapacitation, it is also the people who have been harmed. The harm could have been prevented had they done their job then. And I did appeal the decision not to do the investigation. So these are invaluable pieces of information, and I collect them because it tells me, for example, I got this letter from the NSA, and I put it in my international English book, and it's not there. So okay, perhaps I have took it out and put it elsewhere, or whatever. But it's quite probable that there has been someone in my flat, that someone has broken in and took the letter, which is an invaluable piece of information. So that would be it more or less on the brand development. Now let me go to the brand definition and have a look at mysticism. That is losing the invaluable time. Okay, here. Mysticism. I will give you some concepts, some ideas, and they are not developed as yet, but I want you to have an orientation because mysticism is not exactly the same. William Blake, first and foremost, and the ideas that I have immediately are on the one hand the poetic genius, on the other hand the innocence. This is the queendom of the innocence. The poetic genius, and there's also this key poem that I connect with Nostradamus. I think it is very probable that that is what is meant by the one written in English. It is all religions are one. And if someone has told you that someone else has found it, it is not the truth because it takes having this thick book of Blake's poems, meaning being a real lover of romanticism, or William Blake at least, to find that poem. Actually, it's not a poem; it's an exposition. So William Blake is the key figure here. Another one from the English culture is Sir Mallory. Sir Mallory and Le Morte d'Arthur. The Arthurian legend on the whole is quite in the vein. So we have to do with magic and we have to do with valor. These are connected with mysticism. Once we are in romanticism, obviously we have the Polish romanticism, starting with Adam Mickiewicz, history on the one hand, and transcending life. uh, that is, the appearance of the spirits of the people who have passed. This is also the area of mysticism. Juliusz Słowacki, the myth. So this is the level on which I will work on mysticism and look into mysticism in Juliusz Słowacki. Cyprian Kamil Norwid, thoughts. One of the thoughts by Cyprian Kamil Norwid was that the humiliated one will jump off and go up as high as they have been trodden down, which is a paraphrase, but the meaning. Then we have Jim Morrison, and it is important to qualify it because this is not the novel Quantum of Agnipolitania is not about sex. It is an intimate matter that we don't go into here. It is about the truth and the civil courage. So, on the one hand, you have this Sir Mallory, which goes to the ancients with his valor. And on the other hand, we have Jim Morrison, which is the modern, with his civil courage. Civil or civic? I need to check it. Now, this is the kingdom of royalty. So royalty, the mystic quality of the royalty. There is the Sisi, the Elizabeth Queen, with the symbolism of the dove and the eagle in one. There's Elizabeth I of England. There's Catherine the Great of Russia, with her love for learning, for books, and her rise of women. There's the Ravenhood of Krakow, which I need to look into, but intuitively this is something that I need to look into in terms of mysticism, probably because I am in Krakow. Jan Matejko, who is very, very Polish, he's a painter, and his painting, Hołd Pruski, was the gate opening into the world of into a different world that I don't really know, but the world of art for me through the horse's eye. Prometheus is a mythological figure, so Agnipolitanian is very Promethean in the sense of, well, perhaps I don't want any insights hidden up, but there's this idea of having the fire and bringing it to the humans, or having the knowledge, having the light, and sharing it with the humans. So we are actually responsible for, if we have this higher knowledge, for making the people know it. And this is a mystic quality too. Some mysticism connects with Scandinavia, and the key movie here is the Ring of the Nibelung. The Nibelung Ring, I don't remember the title exactly, but this is the saga, and this is very crucial to the concept of love, obviously. I look for the love that finds fulfillment, and the love that the husband that is not stolen, but the overall positioning of love in the cosmic context and um, the aesthetics are very, very important, and I will look for mysticism there too. There's there's John Paul II, and there was a series of Virgin Marys published by one of the Polish papers with the um, series in the series dealing with miracles, and the one I have chosen is Beatissima Maria Virginis. So it's from Bydgoszcz, and she's holding a rose. Then there's the ancient Egypt, originally the Isis, who takes care of maidens, and was probably somehow got into. I must have got connected to her during the rape, when I entered the time-space continuum, and I got access to the history out of the chronology, and to the universe, to the cosmic dimension of life. But there's much more to ancient Egypt, and it connects actually with the South America, pre-Latin America. Oh yes, I have it written here, pre-Latin America. Then there's a magnet in Mesopotamia that is also constituting the Agnipolitanian mysticism. In that context, I have Osama bin Laden, which I know can ring all sorts of alarming bells. However, I do view him through the mystic's eyes as a very key figure in the understanding of Islam. And we must have the courage, the valor to look at it that way. There's Buddha, Buddha that is somehow reviewed within the noble kingdom of Agnipolitania that supports the ancient Tibet, however, does not agree with neither with the Dalai Lama nor with the developments in the very Tibet. So I must be someone from Tibet, but from a different school. And it has to do with the survival of the ancient Tibet. One of the things is the understanding of going back to the palace after the experience I have had. So I am going back to the palace, which is, the Buddha left the palace for a purpose. I have traveled the journey. I have traveled the road, and now it is time to go back to the palace. And there's Anne and the King, the movie, which is the key movie for all my diplomacy, I think, except for The Contact, which is a movie for my diplomacy when we talk about mediation with the extraterrestrials. Then we have gifts. I got gifts, opal egg, turquoise, and the spider's net. The spider being the best architect in the world, because his work will help what needs help. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention. I hope to survive, because Agnipolitania is a pair, and it is really worth developing into a beautiful project, safe and without any interference that degrades it. What can I say? See you when I see you. Bye bye. And stop attacking me, because as you can see, this mysticism of the noble kingdom of Agnipolitania has quite an uncanny. So I'm telling you, you have the spiritual army fighting for